Yo, 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 this is DPS Podcast. That is Damage Per Second Podcast. And we back on a fine Thursday night feeling all right. I am one of your hosts, SloMoBackSlap, with our other host, Gaming Forte. And look, man, it's episode 253. We getting along in the tooth out here, but we still here getting it done. We got a bunch of like 5,000 minor topics and one main topic to get through. So, we missed last week, intentionally because, hey, it was Thanksgiving and we ain't gonna be here podcasting. We can spend time with family, eating food, good food. If your family know how to cook, if your family don't, my condolences. But, we weren't going to be here last week. So there's an accumulation of things to discuss and we definitely going to get into it. Forte, what's up, bro? How was your time off? How was your Thanksgiving and how was the past week for you?
Oh, Thanksgiving was fine. Working a lot was the problem.
Oh yeah, I forgot. With retail, Thanksgiving is bad.
No time off.
It's bad, man. Yeah, it's rough. It's
bad,
rough
bro.
out here.
Mm-hmm.
So how? Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, no.
No,
go ahead and continue, man.
Oh, no, I'm still tired. And then right after Thanksgiving, having to work, I think I worked from 4:30 a.m. till almost 5 o'clock p.m. The next day. Well, not the next day. It felt like the next day because I was there so early. And then after I got through with the weekend, I had to prep. My regional director, my DM's boss, visited our district, and that was yesterday. And I had to prep for that.
Wait, did you say your DM's boss or your GM?
Yes. My DM's boss, my district manager's boss.
Oh, okay. Because lingo now, DMs. I'm thinking like you got a boss for your direct messages. No wonder nobody can get in touch with you because you just filtering it all through this manager.
If I had one of those people, I would have to fire them.
I would never
get those messages.
You don't get the messages now. Let me stop.
Listen.
Go ahead. Continue. My bad. I'm distracting you.
Yeah, you are. But I passed that with flying colors, but that was only because I worked 109 hours over the last 2 weeks. So,
dude,
I was tired, bro. 109 hours, bro. 109 hours. That's 55 hours a week. Now I know some people. Man. Now I know there's people out there that work like 60, but y'all probably doing stuff like sitting at a desk and like talking to people, which it can be exhausting in its own right. Talking to other people about their issues and things that they have going on. Shout out to the IT people out there. But when you on your feet and having to do that, it's rough. But we survived. I had a cold. As you can see, I'm like on the back end of it now. I'm like
Yeah, me too.
I'm very nauseated right now, and my
did you get yours right after Thanksgiving?
Yep.
Hey, look, man.
Well, no, I take it back.
Look,
I got it
what happens.
Going into Thanksgiving. So I start. You know how I started feeling it.
Hold on. Go ahead. Did you still spend time with family even though you were sick?
No.
Okay, good. Because
no.
I wish there were other family members that felt that way.
Oh,
because man, yeah. Staying home is the right thing to do when you are sick. What I deal with are people who don't stay home, and they bring their germs to the Thanksgiving gathering, and next thing you know, everybody is sick.
Yep,
and that has happened to me. For the past, well, I don't think I got sick last year, but I definitely got sick this year, and I'm recovering. So yeah, I can say I'm recovering.
Yeah, it was I ain't gonna lie. I was kind of happy. I mean, I wasn't happy that I wasn't feeling good. Like it was, I never got to the point where I was like full blown, like, oh my God, this sucks. Because your boy was like popping NyQuil and DayQuil every day, every day, every morning, DayQuil, every night, NyQuil, every day. And I was like, it kind of kept it at bay. And I want to say like the worst of it was probably the day after Thanksgiving where I just felt like I was in a fog. But I finally am like to the point where I don't feel like I'm about to be like, I'm tired. I'm already tired, but I don't feel like I'm tired because I'm sick. But that the best thing that ever happened because I was like, oh, I'm sick, I'm staying home. And my wife looked at me, she was like, thank God. Because being in retail, you never it's like you and we're very family oriented. So we always try to go to both families. Like we'll go to her brothers, they always do Thanksgiving early. So we always go over there like between 2 and 3 up to like 5 o'clock. And then we go to my families like they do later. So they're like 6, 7, 8 o'clock. And my wife was like, okay, well, we're going to do this. And she was like, hey, what if we just skip and just cook that? And I cooked at home. And I was like, that is a great idea. Don't have to go nowhere. And I ain't gonna lie, man. I ate, got into a coma. The coma was just as good as if I went to somebody else's house. And
you were in the comfort of your own home,
and you didn't have to go nowhere. Didn't have to drive nowhere. Yep, I watched the Lions get destroyed on Thanksgiving Day at home in my own house. It was great. And then on top of that, I watched Michigan lose to Ohio State the day before. So that was that just did not make the whole weekend any better. But no, it was a good weekend. It was a great week. I was sitting here like over the week looking at the topics that you were dropping in there, and I was like, this is going to be a very, very, very interesting show. I wonder how SloMo's going to spin this. And guess what? SloMo found a way. So what about you, man? Going back to what I've been doing, barely playing any games for the most part. I did buy Metroid. I bought Metroid Prime. I'm kind of iffy on it because I never usually look at the reviews for Metroid because I just enjoy Metroid for what Metroid is. And then for some reason I was looking at my phone and I saw SkillUp's review pop up. And you know how SkillUp does his reviews. It says, I recommend or I don't recommend. And his thing popped up and it says, I do not recommend Metroid Prime 4. And I was like, what? So I went down the rabbit hole, started looking at videos, and I was like, oh, God. So this game is like sitting between a 7 and an 8. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people say it's the worst Prime game ever. And I was like, you know what? I'm still going to buy this freaking game and see for myself. So I picked that up. I haven't played it yet. And then I picked up Octopath Traveler 0, because that came out today too. So I picked those things up. And outside of that, just a little bit of Battlefield here and there. It was kind of hard to like kind of sit down and focus on that game because it was double XP week in, and I wanted to jump in there and be in there longer, but then I was thinking about I'm tired and I don't feel good and I need to go lay down for a while. So that kind of took precedence over it. But with that, for the most part, everything else was pretty cool. And I did get a chance to try out that Fortnite, and that was actually pretty cool.
Did you actually get into it? I'm showing the live event, the Zero event.
Yeah, that's what made me.
Did you do this, or did you just be playing the new season?
Just playing the new season.
Yeah, this is something that is really kind of unprecedented when it comes to just like, forget just video games, but live service in general, because like live service and games as a service games, they are their own kind of animal. But like, I don't think there's any other developer, publisher, whoever, any other game that could pull off what Fortnite pulled off with this 0 hour event they did to bring in, and they do this often when they bring in a new season. And they don't always do a new season. That like their seasons are very different, or chapters. My bad, a new chapter. They're when they do a new chapter, it's very. It's like a celebration, and it's super epic. And this was something that, like, if you were not logged in on Fortnite,
Voltron?
Yes, Voltron.
I
the Power
Voltron.
Rangers.
King Kong, Megazord, or is that really Voltron?
Yeah, no, it's really Voltron.
That's Voltron.
Well, they had both of them.
Oh my God!
They had Halo Pelicans. They had Spartans in there. They had DC superheroes, Marvel superheroes, the K-pop Demon Hunters. Literally anyone and everyone. It was literally. Have you seen the last scene? The last like battle in Ready Player One, where it's like all of these different intellectual properties all together fighting, and this is, they literally like recreated that. I do wish the performance was a little bit better, but considering it's like, I don't know how you test this out, like to make it work with like millions of people, because apparently 10 million people were doing what you're seeing on the screen that I was doing at that time. I don't know how you test this ahead of time really to make sure it's flawless. Just the fact that it actually worked says enough.
It is Pulp Fiction. Let's go.
No, that is not Pulp Fiction. That is Kill Bill.
Oh yeah, Kill Bill.
The bride from Kill Bill.
Yeah, Kill Bill. I don't know why I was thinking.
It is Uma Thurman who's in Pulp Fiction.
I was thinking Pulp Fiction. Yeah, that is Kill Bill. You're right. Dang.
So this was dope, and I dragged myself out of bed to make sure I did this, and it was awesome. It was pretty good. The new season is a bit interesting. They started out, they blew up the bus driver, so like for the first week or so, you were surfing into the map instead of riding a bus into the map. I thought that was very interesting. I think they were just kind of testing it out but like they eventually went back to the bus driver because
he just slammed Godzilla. That is so disrespectful.
Surfing into the map is cool, but it limits where you can land because you're like you have a limited time period before you basically, or the tsunami you're riding lifts you off into the map, and it's like you could only really land in like maybe the 1/3 of the map instead of the whole 2/3 of land, like find your favorite landing spot kind of thing. And I quickly didn't like it, even though it looked cool. And here's the thing about Epic when it comes to Fortnite: when people don't like stuff, they get rid of it pretty quickly. Like they deal with it. They're very agile in fixing things that don't work and really annoy people. And so they got rid of it pretty fast. Look, this event was dope, man. I really liked it. I like the new season. It's I haven't really got a chance to do too much of it. I'm only level 3. I've done like 2 missions. Again, being sick, I haven't really had time to like play a lot of different things.
Right.
But what I have played, I got a lot of thoughts on, and so I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk on Switch 2 as well as on other platforms, because I'm like doing a lot of build crafting and coming up with different like ways to do things, and I got to the point now where I'm testing my builds is I put it on the highest difficulty, and then I basically instigate a fight with the Night City Police Department in Cyberpunk, which also brings MaxTac, who are the baddest of the bad in the game. And basically, you can defeat MaxTac. Like, you'll fight them, and you may think that they'll just be sending reinforcements indefinitely. It's hard to kill them. They'll send like 5, and then like you'll get through 5 barely, and then they'll send like another 5, and just more and more. They'll be just dropping them down off of choppers. And I got to the point where I exhausted all of them. Like, there was just no MaxTac could send no one else, because there was no one else to send because I killed everyone. It was pretty cool. I did that, and I also have been playing Black Ops 7. We have a lot to discuss with that because it has been pretty much verified that skill-based matchmaking is not working as intended, as Treyarch said it would, and it's a problem that needs to be addressed. But we'll get more into that later on. We can just go ahead and get into these topics. You ready to do that, man?
Yup.
All right. Let me pull everything up here. Let me make sure I got everything squared away, and let's do it. Netflix is attempting to acquire Warner Brothers. Did you hear about this, Forte?
I did.
Which would give Netflix control over HBO Max and everything that HBO owns, the DC properties, which is like the gaming division, the animation division, the movies, all that stuff. And I found that fascinating. And it's, this is a gaming podcast, but we talk about, lightly get into the other realm of entertainment, especially when it does also pertain to gaming. And like WB owns WB Games, that's the Mortal Kombat games, that's the Hogwarts Legacy, the Harry Potter games, that's Batman games, all that stuff is connected. And so I find it interesting that Netflix is doing this mostly, I think, because they want to kind of incorporate what the DC properties do and a lot of what that stuff does into Netflix itself. But I don't know. Like I have some other thoughts on how this might turn out as well. If this is allowed, because it looks like our current administration, the government administration, may be attempting to do something to stop this acquisition from happening. Forte, what are your thoughts on it?
No, I think, well, Netflix has been making a lot of moves lately and stuff, but we also know if you're on Netflix, you can see they for a while now they integrated their gaming sector into the UI and stuff on the app and everything. So they're very, very aware and pushing forward when it comes to like the whole entertainment suite and stuff like that. It makes sense. I mean, honestly, they're a huge platform, and the biggest thing is a lot of people always wonder is like what when it comes to Netflix, it is one of those subscriptions that most people tend to like. I won't say forget about it, but they know they have it, but it's like they just keep it because it's like, well, I always go in there and I watch it for some reason or another. Like, right now, a lot of people are watching Netflix because of Stranger Things with the new season that just started, which was fire, by the way. So it's already at the top of mind when it comes to that. But then, what's going to happen with the subscriptions once, January 29th, or not January 29th, well, New Year's Eve, after that last episode of Stranger Things,
Right.
It's like
this is why Netflix changed from, they used to just like, here's the full season. Like when Stranger Things 1 through 3, I would say, seasons came out.
It was just full.
They gave us the full. You could binge the whole thing, and then so what they started to notice is that unlike you, some people were doing this where they were resubscribe to watch the season, and then they will unsubscribe, and it wouldn't take you so long to watch an entire season of a TV show. Meanwhile, they're trying to make money.
Well, that's why
they're only getting a month out of you for what they paid to put that together. Your $20 or whatever the heck you paid that month isn't enough, and so now what they're doing is they're giving you it.
Stretching it over 2 months.
We've seen it with Yeah, Squid Games as well. They did it with Cobra Kai. Well, Cobra Kai was really annoying me because it was like it was split up in so many different ways. Squid Games actually didn't even. So they did a third season of Squid Games when they didn't actually need a third season. They essentially cut the second season in half. It had already been filmed by the actors. It was already completed. They took the second season, cut it in half, and then waited like months for the next season to come out, which like I think that's not exactly helpful for them, because if you tell me when the next season's dropping, all right, well, if I'm the kind of person that's going to unsub and resub, I'm going to sub to watch that first half of the season or the fake second season, and then I'm going to unsub, and then I'm going to resub back to watch the fake third season. So it's just now the way they're doing it now to bring up Stranger Things, and I know we're wildly off topic, but my bad.
No, you're good.
But like, so what was it? Thanksgiving? No, it was Thanksgiving. It was the day before Thanksgiving Eve, right? Thanksgiving Eve,
8 p.m.
They dropped 5 or 6 episodes.
Four episodes.
Four episodes. Get 4 episodes. On Christmas Eve, they're gonna drop next 3, and then the series finale will be on New Year's Eve. So this is their way of getting at least 2 months out of you.
Yep.
They're going to get at least 2 months out of one season. And that's how they find a way to try to keep people engaged, which really kind of tells me is that they need more content. And I think they in their minds believe they need more content, which brings it back to Warner Brothers here. Yeah, because like HBO is fire, man. HBO and Apple right now, they make the best content, in my opinion. Like what's it called? Pluribus? On Apple.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome TV show created by the guy who made Breaking Bad. It's fire. And the next episode comes out tomorrow. I can't wait. That's great. What's the show with the guy was a football coach, then he goes to Europe and becomes a soccer coach. That show's great. Apple has a ton of great content. But HBO is up there too, with Game of Thrones didn't end that great, but it doesn't matter. Like they got all this other stuff that's awesome too. And so if you get all these things, what I think will happen, and this is my opinion, what I think will happen is they're going to, because I've seen some people get a little afraid of what might happen on the gaming side of things, but I think they're going to do with gaming as well as what they'll do with the media side. I think they're going to eventually do away with HBO Max. Essentially doing what Disney has done to Hulu, because Hulu is going to get shut down next year. Like sometime next year, they're shutting Hulu down. But Disney has fully owned Hulu for about 2 years now. So it was like a slow build up to this, but they slowly integrated everything that Hulu had into like a section of Disney Plus. This is what I think Netflix is going to do. They're going to integrate everything that HBO Max has. Your HBO properties, that's going to be its section. Your DC animation and DC movies, that's going to be a section. And then they're also going to have the other, like the documentaries and all that kind of stuff. Like all this stuff is going to get integrated to the things that Netflix already does. But on the gaming side of things, HBO, okay, let me go back. HBO's not really going away. The app HBO Max will go away, but there's like a ton of like TV, like cable, like networks and stuff that have HBO as a package, and I think they're gonna keep honoring those contracts because that makes them a lot of money. So they'll keep HBO in that way. But they're not going to like basically force people to just get Netflix accounts if you're on cable, if you've been watching HBO through cable. Likewise, when it comes to WB Games, I don't think that like because the games that you play through Netflix, you play through the app. Like now, the next Batman can only be played on Netflix through the app. I don't think that's how that's going to work. I think they're going to keep that stuff the way it is because they'll understand that like the experience of you playing a game through Netflix is not conducive to playing the next Batman Arkham game. It's just not going to work. The next Hogwarts Legacy 2, it's not going to work. You're going to keep that on the PlayStation, on your Xboxes, your PCs, and all that other stuff. And they'll keep all that stuff open. They're just going to own it all. And I think I just find it very interesting to see how this will play out in the long run, if it's allowed to actually go through. Anything else you want to say on this before we move on?
No, that's kind of how I feel about it. You know, it's all in the service of content at this point, and they need to find a way, like you said, shows like The Foundation and stuff that they have on Apple, and then when you come over back to HBO Max and all the stuff that's on there, it's just another way to infuse more content into Netflix itself. The question comes down to what's the price of Netflix going to go up to if this does go through? Like, are we looking at $30 subscription right in the face if you're at the highest tier? Because, you know, I'm already at $24. And the one thing I do hate, like truly hate about what Netflix does, I don't care about paying the $24 to have access to like HD quality, like 4K video and stuff like that. The thing that I hate is the only reason I'm paying that for the most part is to be able to watch it on multiple devices and stuff. Like the lower tiers, you can still get 4K, but you can only get like one or two TVs or one or two devices. Like the one that I'm at, I could get it on 8 devices. And the reason that's significant is because I have it on my phone, I have it on my TV, I have it on 3 different TVs in the house because we got it on our bedroom TV. Both my kids got it on their TV. I have it on the TV in the living room, and then I have it on, and then I think 3 of us have it on mobile. So it's like, if in order for us to like still be able to like enjoy Netflix the way that everybody likes to, either if they're at home or away, you're stuck in that tier. Because I thought about like downgrading. I was like, okay, I can still get 4K at like the 17 or is like $16.99 or something, but it takes it down to 2 screens. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah, and that's how they get people. That's how they get people because they knew that there were so many people that were sharing their accounts among people outside their household that they were like, you know what, we're gonna need to try to figure a way. So like you remember when they did a hard cut that was like you can't share your account and we'll know or whatever. They tried to like shut it down and so many people unsubscribed.
Trust me, I knew about it because my niece lives in Florida and she always used our Netflix account. And when they implemented that, that's when they put that little whenever you would be outside, like what it would do is if you were within the family network, like the main network, like they know what your main network is for your house because they know where your main account is. If you go outside of that network, they'll allow you to access it up to 30 days away from your regular network. After that 30 days, then it will ping the account holder and say, hey, do you want to switch your network so this person can have access to it? But if you switch it, then you don't have access to it. So we were we were going back and forth for like a good 3 or 4 months because at that point my kids weren't really watching it and my wife wasn't watching it. So we were just going back and say, okay, yeah, nobody's watching it. Go ahead and you can use it. And then I would just go in whenever we wanted to use it and I would switch it back. But there will be days where we both wanted to use it and we couldn't. So she just got to the point where she was like, you know what? She said, thanks, Uncle Shannon. I got a job. I'll just go buy Netflix now. Because it was too, like, she would text me and say, hey, it's asking me for a code. And I'll be like, oh, okay. And sometimes I'm like at work and it might be 3-4 hours late.
I know you were definitely not responsive to that.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So it got to a point. So she said, no, thanks, Uncle Shannon. I'll just get my own. And guess what? She sure did. And we ain't had that issue since. They wild though, but no, that's what I think. This is like this may not be the only reason, but this is definitely the main reason, just so they can get more content inside of Netflix, because the subscription is already $24 and they need to find a way to raise that a little bit, but they also need to find a way to keep people engaged outside of the blockbuster things that they put in there that are the Netflix originals like Stranger Things and stuff.
Cool. I'm messing around with Ramon in the chat. Shout out to Trevor Birdsong, that Hallmark actor extraordinaire in the chat.
Of the year.
He's looking at this fabulous Cyberpunk gameplay and saying, "Oh, this looks good. This looks fun," but he won't give it another shot.
Guess what? This Switch 2 gameplay too.
No, it's not. Stop lying to him. This is PC gameplay.
Switch 2 gameplay. You should really, you know what? You should put up Switch 2 gameplay one time and see if people notice it.
I might stream it. I might stream Switch 2.
I'm serious. You should.
From where it is and then set it up over, with the capture card and everything. But yeah, I might decide to stream some Switch 2 gameplay and see what people think.
It. If they don't notice it, there's something wrong.
Right. Eyes is all messed up.
Whoa. What do you mean? The Switch 2 version actually is really good, bro. It's by far the best handheld version of the game.
It's better than the
Steam Deck.
than the version you can play on Steam Deck. Now, Xbox Ally X probably plays it better. I don't know for certain. I don't own one. So I'll have to talk with someone who does own one and who has played it to see the performance and at that level. But the thing is that, like, you're really pretty much, you're not going to use FSR because FSR is trash. You're going to use like XESS, which is Intel's upscaler with frame generation. Either Intel's or AMD's frame generation actually is pretty good. So like you're going to be doing those things to kind of get like the numbers up. And on the Switch 2, although it's using DLSS Lite, which is I think the only mobile device that does DLSS, it doesn't use frame generation. It's just using that. But it is a optimized by CDPR version of the game for the Switch, which is very different than what you're going to get on like an Xbox Ally PC handheld. It's just, it's different. But let's get into this next topic because since we talking about handhelds and PCs now, that's something that needs to be addressed.
Oh really?
I need these people, and I say these people, I mean these people, to stop trying to get the Steam machine to be priced like a console. For the last time, the Steam machine is a PC and will be priced like a PC. We have another Valve developer who has claimed the Steam machine will be priced, and I'm quoting him at this point, like a PC with the same level of performance. He also said, quote, if you build a PC from parts and get to basically the same level of performance, that's the general price window that we aim to be at, unquote. It is not going to be $500. I am sick and tired of seeing people, typically very smart people, bend over backwards and make up all kinds of stuff to basically say it's going to be $500. No, it's not. I think bare minimum $700. But they're telling you if you build it from parts and get to basically the same level of performance, this is what the price is going to be. When you look at what the specs are, you got people out here who are all like, oh, if I go back to a Zen 2 CPU, why are you going back to a Zen 2 CPU? It's a Zen 4. What are you doing that for? Oh, if I go get a RDNA 2 GPU, why are you getting a RDNA 2 GPU? It's a RDNA 3 GPU. Like, they have to pay for these parts. Like this is what they're saying. Take what they have. You build that. How much did it cost you to build it? That's how much it's going to cost to get this thing. So look, again, I'm not getting one because I don't really see the value in it for me personally. I do see how some people may find it to be valuable, but just not what I'm looking for. The controller, yeah, I'm copping that controller. Y'all know I'm a controller whore, so it is what it is. But Forte, any further thoughts on Valve having to reiterate the same statements over and over again?
Because people don't like to listen, man. When people tell you something, listen to them, especially corporations, and even when they're not telling you something, just listen to everything they said before, and it kind of lead you in the direction that you already probably need to go in. This system is already, ecosystem is already set in stone what the price is going to be. Valve already came out and told you exactly what it's going to be for the most part. But you got people that want it to be more than it is, or some people want it to be less than what it is. I still think so. So what is your thoughts of what do you think the price is going to come in at?
Minimum like $700 to yeah, like I've been saying $800 from the very start.
Yeah.
Minimum, and that was me when it first came out, and I went on PC Part Picker, and I tried to find the cheapest possible parts to build the same device. I got like $930, and then there were other people out here, other content creators in this community who bought pre-built PCs, who spent $899 last year on that, before RAM and storage prices went through the roof. Right. They spent $809. So now, of course, you're going to look at the fact that like the company that made the pre-built needs to make a profit. So of course they spend a little bit more, like you're spending a little bit more than what they cost to put it together and ship it. And I just think that like Valve is going to get some contracts to kind of like, they're buying these things in bulk. And so some of the components of it will be cheaper, but due to that, but not cheaper to the point where it's like half off.
Right.
That's just ridiculous. So I thought 800 was reasonable. I could at the lowest see it being 700, and that has to be like essentially like AMD just giving the almost giving the CPU and GPU away to them because they need to get rid of them for some reason. But like when DRAM prices are through the roof, when it's a topic for later on, but when we got people who have been a brand for a long time making SSDs and RAM, and they're no longer doing that anymore, it ain't looking likely that you're going to get this subsidized. Add in the fact that Valve has already said they're only going to sell this thing on the Steam store like they sell everything else. So why would they be trying to subsidize the price for a device that can only be purchased through their website or their app or their program on the PC from someone who has a Steam account? This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, like, nothing about that makes any sense to me. So it's going to be expensive, in the realm, in the eyes of someone who is a console gamer. And I think there's a lot of people who are hoping that it's cheaper because they want it to be competition for Xbox. They want it to be competition for the next PlayStation. They want it to be cheaper. They wish it was more powerful, and they want it to kind of potentially stop what they see is coming in the next year or two, which is these console prices for new hardware coming out and being well over $700. So I feel like a lot of it is like hopes and dreams, but you just, that's not reality. So
that's true.
Need people to get with it. Anything else you want to say about this before we?
No, but you know how it is with people though. It's like as long as there's something to either argue or fight about, this is where we are. So
Yep. All right. Well.
Oh really? Oh really?
So, Sony Interactive Entertainment
of America.
No, just in entertainment. SIE is partnering with Bad Robot Games. Now, you know who Bad Robot is, right?
Yeah, that's
JJ
Abrams
yes.
animation studio.
Well, I don't think they were a production company.
They do all the digital the digital input and processing of all the movies and stuff.
Well, yeah, Bad Robot did.
They did
Lost.
the Star Trek. They did Lost. They did the new Star Trek Kelvin series
Fringe,
with Chris Pike. Fringe. Fringe was good, bro.
Yeah.
I love Fringe.
They've been big in like TV shows and some movies, so they're in that form of media. Mm-hmm. But now it seems they are now branching into Bad Robot Games, where they're branching into actually making video games, and they're partnered with Sony Interactive Entertainment to produce and publish their studio's very first internally developed game for the PlayStation 5 and PC. This game is supposed to be a multiplayer co-op game, and it is being directed by Mike Booth, who was the lead designer on the Left 4 Dead series. Now, before you go for it, let me just get a couple things out here, because I see people seem to just automatically have their brains go in a certain direction on things, where things like when it's not necessary. So just because Mike Booth was the lead designer on the Left 4 Dead series, when did those games come out?
Oh man.
The Xbox 360, bro.
Yeah.
It has been 2 generations since those games released. Just because this game is a multiplayer co-op game, and those games are multiplayer co-op games, does not mean that, one, PlayStation is getting a console exclusive Left 4 Dead 3. There are people that are hyping that up, and there are people who are not happy about that. Either they never played Left 4 Dead or they just didn't care for it. Regardless, they can't make that game because Valve owns the IP of it, the intellectual property for Left 4 Dead. And this could very well be something that is a multiplayer game, but not a zombie cooperative multiplayer game. You don't know. Like, let them come out, let them show what they're working on before you just pass judgment and say it's going to be trash, or they keep doing. And I understand the idea of like their track record with live service is not spotless. So you have a level of trepidation on how good this is going to be, that they don't seem to recognize what is a quality multiplayer game or a live service game. I get all that and I understand it and I can agree to a degree. But what I'm not going to do is just act like, they making Left 4 Dead 3. No. we don't know any of that. So just let's chill. And this is a brand new studio. They're not going to be brand new at making games. They're going to hire people that have made games before. This is typically how it works. And so let's just give it a chance before we automatically just condemn it to being the next Concord, the next Marathon, the next whatever failed Sony live service game. Okay. Forte, the floor is yours. Did I lose you, Forte?
No, I'm here.
That's it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I thought you asked me
Just go, man. Don't worry about it. Look, what are you saying?
No, what are you...
Just what is your opinion, bro?
No, I got mesmerized because the Lions just got a pick. And I was like, what? Did that just happen? I'm sorry. What was the question? I literally was mesmerized.
So you don't even know this is why you was like.
No, I know the thing. What was your question?
Ladies and gentlemen, this Forte is not paying attention to the show.
No, I just didn't hear what your question was.
We just gonna wrap it up. We just gonna wrap it up. We're gonna just go ahead and shut this down. Now was it 10 o'clock? That's DPS podcast episode 253. It's just an hour, not even an hour. It's about a 45-minute show. Forte needs to go watch the Lions.
What about the storage and RAM concerns and it grows?
Oh! Now you care? Now you care?
What about that?
What about anyway? Let me
shut the show down anyway. Shut up.
Yes, I was. Yes, I hey, don't test me, okay?
Don't test me.
I will shut this down.
This is your fearless leader.
I will shut this down right now.
I will shut this down and I will let it burn it. HELL hockey sticks.
Let me reiterate the question because you wasn't paying attention. What do you think about this studio, people passing judgment on this studio as another failure of PlayStation live service games when they haven't even made anything yet and they barely know anything about the game? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, listen, and I thought that's kind of what you were asking, but I wanted to make sure. But no, to be 100% frank, people are going to be very judgmental about PlayStation and their offerings around, games as a service just because it hasn't been good outside of, Helldivers, which I mean they should get kudos for because that is a game that was created, but also that's not a game that was, that's not a studio that they own. So it was independent of what Sony themselves do. So I will give them credit for having the IP and having the foresight to allow a company to go out and still, make that game thrive. But it wasn't really because of what they did. It was because it just happened to be the game that kind of hit versus what they've been doing in a live service space with their own studios and,
and that was pretty obvious in where they put their marketing dollars in. It wasn't into the game that turned out to be successful.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Helldivers wasn't the one that was meant to be the poster child for live service. So that's why I think a lot of people are still kind of critical of them, because it's not to say that Helldivers was an accident. It wasn't. It was crafted to be what it was, but it wasn't something that PlayStation set out to actually say that this is our home run.
They didn't know it was going to be as successful as it turned out to be.
Like perfect example. Even if Marathon comes out and ends up being like gangbusters, that they still wouldn't. They would reap the rewards of something if that game, which has no chance in heck of actually working. We're just using that as a talking point, as an example. But they wouldn't even get credit for that. But if a Destiny 3 was to come out, I think the only way a Destiny 3 would happen is if Sony and PlayStation pushed for it. Because Bungie absolutely doesn't want to do it. So I think something like that would kind of have to happen for them to get a game that a lot of people know and a lot of people have faith in, to actually happen to get people to kind of believe in it. But outside of that, anything that they make that isn't a game that is kind of known already is always going to be looked at with a side eye. Because we saw the last time you made a game and it was made from top to bottom by one of your developers and you published it, and that game didn't even make it past three to 4 weeks. That still looms heavily over their live service offerings and stuff. Not to say that they can't change. And I do think, Bad Robot, partnering with them when it comes to the visual, the animations and stuff, I think that's actually a really good idea, because I can see from a standpoint of a technical standpoint, from a look and a visual standpoint, it's most likely going to look really good. Because if you ever go back and just look at some of the stuff that they made in a lot of the movies and stuff, like the animations they did, some of the visuals, the effects that they do at Bad Robot and stuff, for a lot of the movies they did and TV shows, they're kind of top notch. So I can see them actually, really, really bringing a visual representation that even Sony doesn't even really have outside of their blockbuster, movies like Spider-Man and stuff like that. And they bring that over to like the gaming side.
Yeah.
That's something that I think people are hoping for.
I could also say that like Sony has a flair for narratives, and they kind of be cinematic in their games. And you partner with a studio that it's their first game, but the parent company of the studio is in that kind of form of media. They're going to be far better at like implementing kind of like the kind of game that Sony would enjoy. Right. Now, would that be something that is a game that the gamers will enjoy? We'll have to see. That remains to be seen. But yeah, let's get on to the next, because we're not even halfway through these rapid fires, man.
Rapid fires. Oh, really? Mustard. Oh, this is mustard fire. I like that. Mustard.
Yeah, this is musket. I'm mustard.
Trebuchet firing.
Yeah. Take a minute. You're gonna have to.
We're doing the Chris Rock where he goes, let me call this person. One, two. Oh my God, I messed up. Four.
Right. It's gonna take a while to get.
It's gonna take a while to dial this number. Ghostbuster. So
this next one is on Tomb Raider. So Tomb Raider, there's a rumor,
mm-hmm.
and let me reiterate this. This is a rumor. I hope it's not true, but hey, it is potentially possible. There's a rumor that the next Tomb Raider game being made by Crystal Dynamics is going to be open world. And it's also supposed to be set in India, which I got no problem with. Sure, set in India. I mean, it kind of fits with Lara Croft and Tomb Raider, but open world, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with the way this is being described. Like the Tomb Raider games are very linear in the direction and level design and you're literally going like chapter to chapter with cutscenes to kind of set up the next phase of where you're going, and you'll have like little areas that aren't like, and you know what, some people may say, well, this is slow-mo, this was that kind of low game design is a game that was developed for the time period it was developing, because I'm showing gameplay now of Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, which now is playable on the Switch too, by the way. And this came out on the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very older kind of game design game. But like, I don't think that just because technology is better now, that everything has to be open world. Like, I don't think that makes a lot of sense to me when it comes to certain IP and why people play these games. Forte, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I kind of think the same way. I think in general, it mostly comes back to what people are really engaging and stuff with. This is the thing. A lot of these corporations are still thinking that live service is the thing of the future, and I'm here to tell you that is definitely, for the most part, not the case anymore. It just really comes back to like, what people are playing on a consistent basis are probably most likely live service games, but that's not what most of the money is going towards well, they're still going towards, like, it's only going towards a few of those games. Like, you got to realize Fortnite's eating up a lot of that. Call of Duty, even in the decline, is eating up a lot of that. And then you got, all these other live services out there, like, Apex Legends, still Destiny to a smaller degree, that are like kind of taking up little bitty pieces of the pie. And then you start thinking, now you got gallery games like Arc Raiders and stuff too. So I'd never been a fan of taking a single player narrative game and trying to turn it into open. Like Zelda got away with it because it's all, and it kind of sounds like, I'll put it like this. It kind of sounds like,
I mean, but like there was look, I've never played Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but I've listened to people about to say that the people I've listened to that have talked about it have talked about how like the dungeons that you guys love so much from Zelda. Yeah, so it's not like the same. It's not a perfect transition to open world, even though it may have been executed, really well. If there are things that you enjoyed from the way the previous Zelda games were made, you're going to be wishing those things were still there in these newer Zelda experiences. And I feel like that's a great example that you provided, because I feel like if they really are going forward with an open world Tomb Raider, I feel like a lot of the detail that you get when you go into like an abandoned shrine or ruins
or mine or something like that is going to be lessened.
Yeah, it's going to be less detail there, less lore in the things that you pick up. There's going to be more redundant things happening, and again, I kind of want to remind everyone, Crystal Dynamics brought this IP back. But Crystal Dynamics only did this current one, Definitive Edition, and Rise of the Tomb Raider. They didn't do Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which didn't improve really upon what Crystal Dynamics was building the entire time. Right. But they got forced into doing a live service looter shooter in the Avengers game, and it didn't work out.
Right.
And I would say my opinion on part of why it didn't work out is that, unlike other studios that, like, if they're going to go into a new genre, they go get a whole bunch of people who really are experts in that genre to help them make a quality title in that genre. Crystal Dynamics is just, you can almost see it transitioning. And when you play the Avengers game from a single player story driven game that was good into a multiplayer game that was mediocre. Like, you could see that you progress through the game. And I don't like when you're taking people who don't have the experience of making, executing on high quality games in that kind of field and that kind of genre, and then kind of forcing them into it. And that's why this kind of makes me think about what's happening here. Like, take Gears, for example, Gears 5.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Gears 5 really tried to do that, like it was like Act 3 or Act 2, somewhere in there, but they tried to go open world for an entire act. And it was like, it wasn't a terrible attempt, but you could just tell they didn't really know what they were doing with that.
Right.
Like, there was his huge open world. The only places to go to were the places that were like literally what you need to do to get to the next act. Or like they had this one side story that was just like, it's kind of like it was so dead and empty and just lifeless, and it's just, why is this here? Like it was a mediocre attempt at doing open world, and the game was lesser for it being in there. And I enjoy Gears 5, but like I didn't enjoy that part, and I think I don't want to see a full game of that where someone's attempting to do something and they're making a lot of mistakes that other developers have already figured out not to make.
Right.
It just, yeah. Anything else you want to say on this before we get on to the next one? All right, look, I'm kind of out of gameplay for topics at this point.
He said
so I'm just going to regale you guys. I'm about to regale you guys with a lot of Call of Duty gameplay, so enjoy. It's gonna be a lot of Call of Duty gameplay. So anyway, next topic is Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding 2 has been rated for PC. There is no official release date yet, but many are speculating that, considering Jeff Keighley's Game Award show is going to be next week, which we also will probably be live watching as we've done, because it's always on a Thursday and we go live on a Thursday. And Jeff Keighley glazes Kojima like no other, that more than likely we will get the announcement of Death Stranding 2 on PC during the Game Awards show. Forte, what are your thoughts about Death Stranding 2 coming to PC so quickly and all that good stuff?
That's great, because that means I ain't got to play it on PlayStation. That's great. So I'm looking forward to that, because I am definitely going to play it. But no, I mean, it's just kind of par for the course, especially with games that were exclusive to the PlayStation platform. We're starting to see those games come over faster, more and more, and they don't even they don't own the IP. They just have a partnership with Kojima when it comes to it, so they don't have really like any type of control past whatever obligation he has set for that game to be set over there. But in general, of course, he wants this game because he sees where the majority of people are playing at now. Like if the game probably could run on a Switch, it would probably be on that too. Honestly, I mean, the one thing about Death Stranding is one of the better looking games, more demanding games. It actually runs fairly well on lower end hardware on PC too. You're just not gonna be able to crank it up and get the best of the visuals and stuff like that. It's a lot of compromising that needs to happen there, but I'm not surprised that it's coming there. But I also think in general, did they say what the date of it's going to be?
Are you watching the game again?
No. I heard you say. I know you said. I didn't remember. You said. I know you said the date. I said, well, what was the actual day?
Well, no. I didn't say a date or a day because they haven't. This is known because it was rated. So it got rated in I don't know which country, Korea or something like that. So that's how people know it's coming soon.
Well, we already knew it was coming.
Everyone knew it was coming, but now we know like this is coming imminently. Soon
he's
could
gonna
be
probably announce it
a
on the
year
stage
or something.
He's going to announce it on the stage when he's at. I see what you mean. So you're at, it all makes sense because he's going to be on stage. Kojima cannot be at the Game Awards and not be on the stage next to his best friend Jeff Keighley. So when he's on that stage, that's the Jeff Keighley. That's when he's going to make the announcement. First of all, he's going to say, "Congratulations, Kojima. You did another great masterpiece." And once
as he's handing him the award for Game of the Year.
Right. So another great game, and another game that's in the Game of the Year conversation. But we're not going to talk about that until later. But let's talk about the thing that you have to announce today. Why don't you go ahead and give people
and then Kojima will start talking in Japanese for like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Then there'll be a translator. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that, yo. Don't. Hey, the poor imitation of Japanese language done
I'm not trying to be
Game
funny.
Forte does not represent that of DPS gaming, even though it's just the two of us.
No, I was just thinking of Squid Games. That just popped in my head when I was thinking when you said Japanese. Like, it's not to be funny because I don't know how to speak Japanese.
Clearly.
Clearly.
Anyway,
that's funny. But we already know what's going to happen.
He'll have a translator on stage. They'll be up there for like about 5-10 minutes. Meanwhile, everyone else who won the award only gets like 20 seconds to accept their award.
Guess what? Let me ask you this though. Is the translator going to be on stage? Well, they'll be on stage mic'd up, but will it be more of the translator coming through your TV like it's like already like
no last year
or
he
is
literally
it gonna be somebody
was
on
it
stage
last year
reading it like
it was either last year or the year before either last year or the year before he actually had a translator on stage with him and he was running his mouth for like 2 minutes, and then the translator would translate what he said.
I felt bad for that person.
It was like, why is this? This is like 6 minutes out of the entire show, and he's and no one knows more about OD Then before he started, it was just rambling. It's just so look, yeah, he'll ramble on stage for like 20 minutes, and then like the translator will go, Death Stranding 2 on PC in January 15th or something like that.
And that's
like
literally the only thing that everybody cares about.
Right, essentially.
Thank you for getting to the point.
Yeah, I will not get it. Because I have not gone back to Death Stranding 2 on PlayStation 5. I played about a good 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
And I haven't played it. I mean, it wasn't bad. I just, I don't care really. And the way I am at this point with it, if I'm going to play that game, I'm just going to continue my playthrough on PlayStation. It wasn't like it was an ugly game. It looked good on PlayStation. It played well. Mm-hmm. Optimized well, like Kojima Productions are just as good. I would say just as good, not better, but just as good as Guerrilla Games is with the Decima engine at this point. And yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful game, and if I ever play it again, it's probably going to be on PlayStation 5 unless there's like some mega sale on PC, and I just like, I can't pass that up, $20. But that's going to be a while from now. So again, that's nothing for me to really make a big deal about. But what about you, man? You haven't bought it on PlayStation, and you also haven't.
I have it on PlayStation 2.
Oh, okay. You got it for free?
Yes.
Of course you did. So,
I would definitely want.
Are you going to buy it on? Are you going to buy it on PC? But of course, it's going to be after you finally beat the first one.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to buy it. I mean, because I actually, I'm at a point now where I'm enjoying the game. I still right. It's like I mean, listen, you only can have fun on that game when you're with the 10%ers. They made it.
Yeah. There's a particular someone here in the chat that wants me to read. Something in all caps. I'm not gonna yell at you because when you see caps, you mean that's yelling. But I ain't gonna yell at you. The legendary Yobi says, Forte, your attention needs to be on this podcast, sir. Focus. SloMo can easily hit the button and shut this ish down. Focus. Keyword.
I like it. Focus. I like how he went. He said shice twice instead of shut once. I love you, Yobi. That's funny.
That is the homie.
Dope. The level of smoke that man has for Cognito is legendary. By the way, just like.
So what happened?
The level of smoke that Yobi has for COG on IOP on Sundays is legendary, bro. I be like, part of me feeling like, man. Part of me be feeling like, did COG really do something to Yobi, or this is Yobi being just very, very? Because I be like, man, he be coming for COG, man. Look, COG is a bum.
See, leave that man alone. That man is a reformed Destiny crackhead who keeps kind of relapsing every now and then. He needs some.
It's the anime slander. Okay, it's true. That dude makes. I told him when he was doing all of those reactions to anime and he was being all slander. I was like, bro, you do not realize who you are upsetting when you do this.
Yeah, you can't talk about the anime like that. Shout out to Cognito.
Yeah, shout out.
Let's get into this next topic. Nintendo is acquiring shares of. I need to say this correctly because I think this really got a lot of people confused based upon the name of the company that they seem to have been acquiring, or at least acquiring enough of a shares to kind of influence what that company does. But Nintendo is acquiring shares of Bandai Namco Studios of Singapore, not Bandai Namco, the publisher itself, but just a Bandai Namco studio that is based in Singapore. The studio is going to become a subsidiary of Nintendo, and they've already been doing a lot of support work on a number of different exclusive Nintendo games in the past. So this is kind of seemed to be just like not really anything changing in the way that they do business, but more of locking up a company that may have decided, like, or maybe Bandai Namco was going to have them do other things that would have had them not being as available to do the support work they've been doing for Nintendo in the past. And Nintendo was just like, yeah, we ain't gonna deal with that. We just go ahead and lock this bad boy up, make sure that these people are always available to help us get our work out, that kind of thing. What are your thoughts on this, Forte?
No, it's more of the same. I just think in general that when you look at just this in general, it's just the question is why? Like, why is oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. What's their name again? You just said it.
Bandai Namco, Singapore.
Yeah, Singapore. They
should probably change their name. They should probably change their name now.
It's like, because I thought the same thing, and when you mentioned it, I was like, that's a really good bring up, because a lot of people are going to think it's actual Bandai Namco. But the biggest thing that comes from it is familiarity and stuff like that. So that's why people kind of get the things confused in general. But I don't give a care about Bandai Namco. Well, because they make the Souls games. So outside of the Souls games, it's kind of the only thing that
they publish the Souls games for, and they've only published like.
Remember games like Jump
They've
Force?
only published. Yeah, those were not good. They've only published, like, for the FromSoft games. They published Elden Ring, which is of course the most successful one, but they also did Night Rain. And they did what's the one, Armored Core 6, right? Was it 6?
Oh, Rubicon.
Yeah. So those like the other ones that like for example, damn it, what is the name of the one? Sekiro. Sekiro was published by Activision, I believe.
By Activision, yeah.
Bloodborne published by Sony. Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. I don't know who published those. Maybe someone who's a bit more hardcore in the Souls genre can enlighten me. But
I thought that was you, SloMo.
Essentially, no, I'm not. I just dabble here and there. I'm Souls out right now. Like, shout out to Ramon in the chat. Ramon's been trying to get me to play his first Berserker Kazan for like all year long, and I'm just like, no. I can recognize that game looks fantastic. It looks like it's a high quality game. I actually played the technical test, the alpha, sometime last year, and I enjoyed what I played of it. But I am done with Souls for a while. I just can't play them no more. I ain't got enough bandwidth, mental bandwidth.
You said my bandwidth. My bandwidth's on E.
Yeah,
my battery's drained.
I just think just overall, like, I mean, this is good for Nintendo. They're making moves. Just as long as I say this, I'll say this about Nintendo. I'm not. That's it. Yeah, they need more content. They need be more consistent in the content too, because they'll have like years where like they're just killing it. And then they'll have years like this year where I feel like they're not really killing it this year. Like, I don't think, and look, I haven't played it yet. I will play it before the Game Awards show next week. But I own it. Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't, just based off of what I've seen of it and what I know of the other games that are in the category that I've played the majority of them. It don't deserve to be there. Definitely don't think it deserves to be there over Split Fiction. Split Fiction should have been there. Huh?
I ain't gonna disagree with you though.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you were woeing about.
I'm just saying whoa. But it's Nintendo, so it has to be there.
But yeah, so Nintendo always gets one in there anyway, and it's always the best rated game that they have that goes in there. But that doesn't mean that it deserves to be there. It's just the best Nintendo game that's there. It just kind of shows a little bit of a bias here with this particular award show. I don't think this year, like Metroid Prime 4 has come out, and the reviews have been pretty polarizing. People have been on the fence with it. There's people who love it and people who hate it, and it just doesn't seem to be living up to the expectations of what a Prime game should be. They also had some other game, like the Pokemon game that came out sucks. from everyone who's played it. And there have been some other games.
I don't believe that.
Hmm?
I don't believe that.
Okay. You be the first person. Oh, stop it! You need to stop it. You fanboying right now for
what do you mean?
Pokemon. Yo, everyone there are people who play Pokemon all the time, and they're like, I am a Pokemon crackhead. I will admit, and they're like, this game sucks though. They're just like, this game is bad, but I'm gonna keep playing it, which is why nothing changes, because Nintendo doesn't have any incentive to change the way they go about business with the Pokemon Company and Game Freak, because they you guys keep buying the games and nothing's going to change. They're not going to stop and say, let's pause on these annual releases to make sure the level of quality is up to snuff. For what? You're going to spend more money and expenses making a better game to get the same amount of people to play it?
Mm-hmm.
Because the people who are going to buy it are going to buy it whether it's a shiny turd or a pixelated, barely running turd. They're going to play it regardless. So
that's true.
Right. You ready for the next one? Because this one is actually about what the gameplay is on screen.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
So let's talk about this Black Ops 7, man. Black Ops 7 recently got kind of exposed. And shout out to a content creator, the exclusive Ace. I've been kind of watching some of his content for a little while now, and he makes good content on. I'll only watch maybe 2 or maybe 3 content creators on Call of Duty, but the people I like watching, they all do different things. And the exclusive Ace is kind of like the kind of content creator who does a lot of testing. Like he'll look at the changes that they make in the game, and he'll be like, okay, for example, he made a video that was like, is the lightweight perk really doing what it says it's doing? And he'll do some really detailed testing to prove whether it is or is not, and I find his information helpful and insightful. But he did a test recently where, and I think something else that's important before I get into the test is that Activision knows about his channel, and they pay attention to what he says, and they sometimes, it seems like, are literally addressing him directly when they make press releases and things like that. So he made a video, and his video recently was talking about skill-based matchmaking and the issue with it. And because a lot of people are starting to notice or feel like you said that what we played in the open mosh pit in the beta was minimal to very little skill-based matchmaking, and people loved it. It was great. And that's what people wanted more. And you said, okay, all right, well, that's going to be the default. And if you want the standard, the old way of skill-based matchmaking that everyone hated for the past 4 or 5 years, then you can go to the standard mosh pit playlist. Now, bear in mind, they also are moving the standard skill-based matchmaking, mosh pit over to featured. So there are going to be people, I think, who are going to end up choosing it by accident, not realizing it is the standard. But, it doesn't seem to matter to me at this point because they both feel the same. The skill-based matchmaking is definitely taking skill into a stronger consideration than they let on. We would love to have ping be what the priority is, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Exclusive Ace's testing showed that from his dummy account, to which he doesn't really play, and therefore isn't looked upon with the skill value that his main account is, there is a disparity in how long it takes him to get into a match on average. And that disparity shows that it's taking him longer on his main account because it needing to find players in his skill gap in order to get him in there. You see what I mean? And I have played, I haven't played with too much with Forte because Forte ain't been playing nothing. But I played a little with Taz, and me and Taz have been playing, and we both had noticed that, like, it basically just feels like how it was in Black Ops 6 and Modern Warfare 3, where we're playing, and we are in different values for whatever our skill level is considered as far as Activision is concerned, and we can feel the differences, right? And so this all came out, and it was addressed by Treyarch, but Treyarch claims that the player demographics and playlist selections are different in the full build versus the beta. Essentially, that there are more people playing the full game than the people that were playing the beta, and therefore, because the demographics are different, this causes what you're seeing to be occurring, where you believe or you feel as if it's just basically a sweat fest in every single match. Forte, do you call BS on this or not?
I do call BS on this.
Tell me why. Tell me why.
Listen. First of all, how long has this supposed to be implemented?
Say again.
How long has this supposed to be implemented?
The open matchmaking that has minimum since the launch of the game.
Oh, well, let me ask you this: outside of the beta, when they were like really testing it, since the game has come out, have you felt like it's ever been open matchmaking?
Okay, I felt this is my opinion. My opinion. I have not done any testing. I don't know for a fact. Just my opinion. My opinion. I think they had it open for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I feel like the first 2 or 3 days they had it wide open. I felt it felt to me just like it was in the open beta.
Mm-hmm.
And then after like that first weekend, it's like they said, all right, we got them, we good, and reverted right back to what it was before, because it is just a sweat fest all the time. Now, the persistent lobbies, I love it because it's fun. Like you go through a match, you may bite the other team, you got a guy on the other team, you talking trash, man, y'all suck, man, y'all garbage. Your mom's over here, she said she suck. She said you suck too. and this next match is on, right? And then you go body him again in the next match, and there's more trash talking. Like it literally, like it's not perfect, because there've been times where I've been in the lobby with some people and I'm having a good time. And this was actually last night. I was having a fabulous time playing by myself for once. And when I say fabulous time playing by myself for once, where the matches weren't sweat fest the entire time. Some of it was sweat, some of it wasn't, but it was cool. And people talking trash. It was all that, and then like out of nowhere, I'm by myself.
Yeah,
I'm like, what happened? Like, cause like it was fine. I was with the same people, and then like after maybe about 3 or 4 matches, that next thing I know, I'm by myself. So I don't know. Maybe they need to tweak that a little bit. But the persistent lobbies are good. The skill-based matchmaking though is not, and this whole idea that they're prioritizing ping over skill is not true. It's just not. They also have not stopped all the cheaters. Like I can attest to that. There is like, I'm looking at some guys literally tracking me through the wall. Like their crosshair is just following me as I'm going around the house, and I jump around the corner or slide around the corner. They're waiting for me. It's just like, dude, you're not even trying to hide it. It's funny that way, but I think that I'm gonna say to you what I said to someone else recently that asked me about what did I think about Arc Raiders and Battlefield and what those games are doing, and are those games in danger of really truly hurting Call of Duty? And yes and no, because competition can always hurt a game that is dominant. So like, yeah, like Arc Raiders is doing fabulous. Battlefield 6 is like having this best launch of any Battlefield game. All this stuff is great. But Call of Duty really can't really be hurt by anyone else. They can only hurt themselves. If they actually give their community what their community is looking for, give them the kind of experiences that they want, listen to what they say and actually implement those things, no one can stop them. No one can stop them. The only way they can do that is if they are literally giving their players over to the competition. And that will happen if you are consistently not doing anything that the players want, or you get caught trying to trick them into thinking that you're doing what they want, but you're not. And so I kind of don't know why they won't just implement open lobbies like that. Like I know in the past they've said that if you think the pub stomping is bad now, it will be even worse if they did it then. I can see in some cases, sure. When you have someone who's just basically, it's almost like as if they're playing the game with their feet, going up against a dude that's like a streamer, like that streamer is going to drop a nuke. It's going to happen. But the thing is that that's just one match though. The guy who just got pub stomped can just go hit search new lobby. And if it's truly open, he's not finding another demon to go after him like that, like he did in the previous match. But when you hit search new lobby and you get more demons, something's not right here, you know? And that's just, I feel like that's just kind of where I'm at with that. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't care.
Of course you don't.
Why you say it like that?
Because you could wait. I played with you for like 5 matches.
Okay.
And you ain't even played the game. Look, I seen your stats. You ain't played the game since them 5 matches.
What you looking?
So that's why I said, of course. Oh. See, this is how you know someone guilty. Because it's like, instead of that ain't true. What you talking about? I've been playing yesterday. Your immediate response is, how did you find out this information?
How did you find this information? How did you get me caught dead to right? I haven't played that game. You right. Playing with you was the last time I played that game.
So when you could go into barracks and then stats, and then you can see all your friends' stats.
Oh,
and I saw that you have 5 games played, and I was like, that's the same 5 games
that he played.
I played with this man opening weekend.
Yep. And when did that game come out? November what?
November something. I don't know. The first
like
season
November
dropped today.
Or something?
Yeah, I think the first season dropped today, so I need to. And they
can jump in there. We can play. We can definitely play. Now that the holiday, they're not over, but at least the first. Do you realize that we are almost at Christmas, bro?
Yeah, no, man.
It's crazy, bro.
I need to start buying some Christmas gifts. I have put it off for too long, and I don't really know what to buy. Kids who seem to have every damn thing. So I don't know, might just start making some stuff up. Just like, oh, you didn't want this? Okay. Just buying things.
You didn't want this. No, but no, but you're right. But yeah, like my give a dang was you know how I feel about COD though, so.
You know, I feel like you just need to just, you know, get in there and yeah, listen to what I'm saying. Get in there.
Not after all the stuff you said today.
I've scared you.
Why would I want to go in there and endure that?
But look at the Jumbotron. I'm having a good time.
Are
you? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm murdering everybody.
I like this map. I actually did really good.
Yeah, I do like that. I've grown to like this map.
Look at that jump shot. Look at this man, just
I
sliding
think
the slide on the floor.
I like the weapons in this one more than like maybe the last two Call of Duties combined.
Nice.
But the maps, I don't really like. There may be about 3 maps that I'm cool with. Like the rest, I'm kind of just like, whatever. This one's okay. Of course, I'm the last kill. Of course, I am. This one's just okay. I can dig it, but it's they got some maps that just make me like as soon as I know it's this is the map that they've settled on, that it's been voted on. Sometimes I'm just leaving the lobby. I'm just like, nah, fam. I have limited time, and my time will not be wasted on this one. No, sir. All right, let's get out of here. Let's move on here. Eidos Montreal has been hit with more layoffs. They have been working primarily now as a support studio for most of the projects that they're on, which when I read that part, I felt kind of sad because I feel like Eidos Montreal is not a support studio. Not saying that's like it's bad to be a support studio, but they have been a lead studio on so many projects. They, this is the team that did that fabulous Guardians of the Galaxy game. Like, I just kind of feel like them just doing support work just does it. It's beneath them, but that's what they've been doing for the most part. And Embracer, after they were acquired, Embracer sometime early last year. Well, let me clean this up. They weren't acquired early last year, but sometime early last year, after the acquisition has already occurred, they canceled a Deus Ex game that they were working on. So sucks for them. Forte, any thoughts on this? No. What?
What?
All right, we're moving on. We're moving on.
I don't know why you think I cared.
It doesn't. You could at least just say, that's awful for them. This man just.
It's awful. It is awful. But guess what?
You know what? Never mind.
They chose their fate.
Let's talk about something that you actually have an opinion on. The marathon art issue has been resolved to the satisfaction of the artist who had her work stolen. It appears, yeah, exactly. It appears Sony and Bungie ponied up, so to speak, to make things right with her. She publicly made a statement on it, which is probably a part of the legalese about this, that she had to make a public statement that things have been satisfied so that the game won't be adversely affected by the fact that they stole her artwork when they finally try to release it. But Forte, does this how different do you think this game is going to look when they finally show it again?
I don't think it's going to look that different at all, because I don't think enough time went by for it to look different. I think they paid off this individual, and they gave her extra money for the rights to the art, and I think that art is still. I think there'll be certain things that they change, but I think for the most part, that art is still going to persist in the game. She's just going to.
It's an art style that she did not create.
No, that's what I'm saying. She didn't create it, but
that art style is
the symbols and everything that she had in the, some of that stuff.
They stole her
the hieroglyphs and stuff that she would like put in,
that's not really. It's like, but both of us are about to sound real stupid right now. Is it iconography? Is that how you pronounce it? But essentially, the way symbols and words and stuff looked in that art style, they literally just copy pasted it into the game.
I don't think that stuff.
So they got to take a lot of. Well, no, that stuff's got to be gone. I think.
It just depends on what the settlement was.
True.
I mean, because in my eyes, And like I told you, when this game got delayed, I said if this game comes out in a year, then Sony, they settled under the grounds that they can still keep some of the art, and then they would get royalties off of said thing, off of sold versions of the game and everything, on top of like damages that were assumed based on the fact that the way they found out about the art was in the way they found out that it was stolen. So just because it was stolen doesn't mean they didn't get a chance to still keep it. So that was always going to be my thing. Like, how are they going to release this game and change all of basically the core identity of some of the stuff that was in the game was core to that. So it's like that never made sense. I say if this game comes out, they're either going to change everything or they're going to cancel it, because I just didn't believe that a year was enough time. But it looks like
they don't have to change everything to kind
not
of like
everything, but enough to the point. But that's the thing.
They could take out everything that was originally hers and still have the same art style and art direction.
But you know what's going to hurt the game though, still, because people, even this is a thing, and that's a misconception of just the suit in general. A lot of people think that the art was created by her, and it's not. But the wide public believes that just looking at Marathon and looking at its art style was stolen. So no matter what they do, even if they remove the things in the game that they created, because I don't know if it's a he or she, like that they created, it is a she. That's what I thought. But the things that she created, even if they removed that stuff and they kept the same art style, people would still talk about this game as being the game that was released with stolen art assets.
And see, and that's why I feel like she had to make that statement so that they could always refer to, well, the artist has been compensated for the mistakes that we made, and all that's done. This game is plagiarism free at this point.
And that's why,
whether that means they paid her for the usage of the stuff in the game, or they removed it all and paid her for the damages that they did by stealing her stuff and putting it in there. Regardless, I mean, regardless, I feel like this game is not going to be successful.
It's not going to be successful.
At this point
anyway.
now, Arc Raiders is blowing up. It is like the hot extraction shooter of the moment. When this thing comes out next year, the way Arc Raiders is going, there's going to be no one who's going to be willing to really give this game a fair shake to give it a shot.
Let me ask you this though. Who do you think made the final decision on? I mean, granted, it's owned by Sony, so the final decision had to go through them. But do you think this was a decision that that Bungie wanted to hurry up and settle it, or do you think it was a situation where Sony was like, "Y'all got caught red-handed, settle this"?
I think it's a combination of both, because I feel like they were under pressure to get this game out, and they had to delay it. They didn't want to delay it. No one ever really does, but they needed to delay this due to everything that was going on. Sony is just, I think Sony's going through a lot of buyer's remorse right now on Bungie.
I agree.
And they're a little sick of all the issues that, the more the drama and everything that this company has caused them. And instead of, this acquisition being what it was, which was a company that was the masters of live service, showing them how to do live service for their other IP, which would have been made the acquisition a steal in their eyes if they generated billions off of other live service games outside of Bungie due to their guidance, and they only spent $3 billion on them themselves in addition to getting Destiny and all that other stuff like that. I see the vision there, but like the implementation of it and how it turned out has been anything but. And I feel like on Bungie's side of things, they hope this works because they don't want to do Destiny no more. But I think there are Destiny fans that feel like they hope this fails because then Sony might go to Bungie and say, hey, look, we need you to do a Destiny 3. Because this seems to be what your bread and butter is at this point. You can't really do anything else. We gotta make something of this acquisition that we spent so much money on. Go ahead and make a Destiny 3. But I really feel like that's just not going to... I think Bungie's cooked either way. I think they're cooked, whether they're making a Destiny 3 or not. Or Marathon's cooked because it's going to bomb. And if they made a Destiny 3, I think a lot of Destiny fans would not enjoy what Destiny 3 looks like under this current version of Bungie and with Sony as the publisher. I don't think a new Destiny delivers content in any way that Destiny fans have enjoyed. We have seen that turned out to not be, like, Bungie was never self-sufficient or self-sustaining. They've always needed the publisher to mitigate the cost that they deal with, which means that all the big productions, all the flashy trailers, all the big, raids and hubbub of, of their annual expansions was too much for them. And all the money they generated wasn't enough to compensate for the amount of money they were spending to get that done. Current version of Sony ain't about that life. Totoki is not going to take that. So a Destiny 3, I think, is going to have far less content, or at least the cadence of content that Destiny fans would want, in order to try to make sure that they could squeeze as much money out of the player base before moving on to the next expansion. And so, yeah, I'm not really clearly, as you can tell, optimistic about Bungie's future right now. I mean, anything else you want to say on this, man? We can move on whenever you finish. All right. Guess we're moving on. Since so you're just not gonna say anything when you don't want to, when you got nothing else to say. You just gonna be silent.
No, I'm good, bro. I just wanted to see how long you was gonna sit there. It's like, I guess we're moving on.
Y'all see what I do with?
You did with a person
y'all see what I do with?
You did with a person that loves you.
Last rapid fire topic. I would do the bumper for this one.
The bumper.
PlayStation 6. There's a rumor. Shout out to Hip Hop Gamer, cool dude. We both have enjoyed, listening to Hip Hop Gamer over the years. There's a guy that's in the know. Okay, now it doesn't mean that he's always accurate with the things that he knows, but he is a legit insider. And Hip Hop Gamer has stated, you could basically still label this as rumor, but stated the PlayStation 6 will have Steam on the platform, or I guess within the store. I'm a little doubtful on this one. I feel like this might be one of those cases where there's something that, like, we're a few years out on PlayStation 6, and so this kind of reminds me of when Hip Hop Gamer talked about all the features that the DualSense controller would have years before the DualSense was officially shown. And I remember him talking about the advanced haptic feedback features about the speaker in the controller, about all the stuff that actually was there. But then he said some other stuff that just didn't make it. They had a patent for it, but it didn't make it. And then, of course, years later, we found out about the patent and found out that, like, a lot of that stuff was actually supposed to be there, but they took it out. And it's like, people don't really... This is the reason why I don't really get into, like, insider stuff or try to be insider, because it's like, I may hear things from people, and I try not to really, like...
You'd be a great
sometimes
insider.
I actively... Huh?
You would be a great insider.
No, I wouldn't. It would be terrible, because I'm sometimes I have to actively remember what I can and cannot speak on about certain things. So I'll try to talk about a topic that you know more information about, but then like there's certain aspects of that information that you were told not to speak on publicly, and so you don't. But like you're trying to remember what you can and cannot, and sometimes you can get it confused. But the reason why I said I'm glad I'm not really into that, because like we've seen it with Jeff Grubb, friend of the channel. We've seen it with other people who are insiders and have information. You have to be careful in how you say things, because people will take one thing you say inaccurately and act like you're a fake insider. You're always lying. You're just making stuff up. They never remember the stuff that you had right. And they never remember when you had something right. And then in the case of Hip Hop Gamer, other people months later or a year later get the same information from one of their sources, and they act like they're the first ones to break it. The Hip Hop Gamer broke it first, and it's just like that gets ignored. So it's like, for me, it's I don't feel like people bringing up something I got wrong just because things changed. Like the legit person that told me that was 1000% correct, but things changed from the moment that I said this is what's going to happen to it actually being announced or released, and no one remembers that. Hey, you were right. Nope. They just remember the little 15% that you got wrong. And so I say all that to say that I do think that, like, Steam being on PlayStation 6 doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't make sense on both Sony's part and Valve's part, and I'll explain why. With Sony, it doesn't make sense because Valve has a lot of the same games that Sony has, and they have them a lot of times cheaper. Like, Steam sales are far more prevalent than you see on sales on PSN. And if someone is to buy a game through Steam, what are you getting on that? Like, Valve's not giving PlayStation a split of the revenue. They get their 30% off these games. They're not giving Sony a percentage off that 30% simply because it was bought in their store. On their piece of hardware. Not going to happen. So PlayStation's not going to miss out on that revenue cut they get from those games. If someone, say, for example, let's Hogwarts Legacy 2. Hogwarts Legacy 2 comes out. It's on Steam. It's on PSN. You have a PlayStation 6, and you see the price of the game is $70 on PSN, but I could get the game on Green Man Gaming for $55 on Steam. Man. I'm gonna buy it on Green Man.
Yep, all day, every day.
Activate the code on Steam. Now I'm playing it on PlayStation. How much of that money goes to Sony? Zero. So why would Sony allow stuff like that? Like, it doesn't make sense. Now, if your question is why is Xbox allowed, the Xbox really didn't have a lot of choice. They went to a PC platform because they had to. Yep. And they're allowing Steam on there, but like the way it works is you're not buying the games through the Xbox app. You're going to Steam to get those games. And Xbox wasn't really getting a lot of that revenue anyway, which is a very different situation than what PlayStation is in. Where on consoles, they're when it comes to certain AAA games, they are the de facto to go to. So on Valve's side of things, if we put our games, our storefront on PlayStation, sure, this could be more people signing up for Steam accounts and playing those games. But then how does that work with, like, these are PC versions of games running on a PlayStation? Is it going to be a like what kind of version of the game are you getting? Like, it just doesn't make sense, because it's like, You're not. The hardware is still the hardware. The PS6 is still the PS6, and by the time the PS6 comes out, there will be PC hardware that surpasses it, as we all know. So let's say you have a 8090. I'm just trying to find something that's going to be not out yet, right? And you have a RTX 8090 with the latest AMD CPU.
Mm-hmm.
Your rig is far surpassed what a PS6 is. You buy that. That's great on your platform.
Mm-hmm.
A guy who owns a PlayStation 6 buys the same game. How does it run on a PlayStation 6? Is it using like a Steam Deck kind of preset? Like make it a PlayStation 6 preset that you set it to? Who's optimizing that? Because you're adding extra work on developers that now to not just do a PlayStation version of the game, but a Steam like I think people who don't do development. I don't do development, but I am a tech person. Like they don't really think these things through. You're not getting and I'm not. That's not shade towards hip hop gamer. I'm just talking about people in general. But like, you're not getting the PlayStation version of that game. You're getting the PC version of that game.
Yep.
So if it's a key that is a Steam key, it's gotta be that version of the game. It can't be the PlayStation version of the game. The developer now has to make a PC version of the game that's likely running because it's gotta run on the PlayStation Vulkan APIs with and using the other tools they use to put the game on PC to have it run max specs on what the PlayStation 6 is, which is going to be a custom APU, have custom software, and has its own set of development tools, its own set of like its own GDKs, own APIs, all that other stuff. It's just like, why? None of that makes sense to me of like why this would even be remotely possible for a console to do that. But the thing is, the PlayStation 6 isn't a PC, it's a console. If it's a PC, then that's different. Because then it's just, all right, well, you know, it's probably going to run a version of Linux.
Yep.
And you're going to have your PSN storefront, which, I mean, they still might make a launcher, so we'll see, right? And you're going to have your additional storefronts. Steam wouldn't be the only storefront then. You have access to Epic Games Store. You'll have access to Ubisoft Connect, EA Play, all the other storefronts, GOG. If it's really going to be like that. But it's not. It's a console. It's a closed system. Mm. So it don't make sense to me. You make it make sense, Forte. What do you think?
What you mean? You think you think I got voodoo? I can make that make sense. Heck no. People out here wishing for things that ain't possible. Ultimately, people want what. You know, part of me feels like a lot of this conversation comes from the fact that people just want what they can't have, and they want to try to make it into something that is not.
Yeah.
And it, you know,
now bear in mind, hip hop gamers reporting this. I think it wouldn't surprise me if there have been talks between Sony and Valve on some things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But just because they're talking doesn't mean that like the end result is what people are saying to this. Like that it could be something different. It could be they're making their own launcher and they're trying to negotiate ways of like, because I think if Sony makes their own launcher for PlayStation, they're going to incentivize PC gamers to buy their games in that launcher.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the way they incentivize that, they're going to be like pre-order bonuses. They like Epic does that, for certain games that they published and that are available in the Epic Game Store. They'll do like pre-order bonuses you can't get anywhere else. Fortnite skins that are exclusive to the pre-order that become very valuable because the limited way to get it. I can see PlayStation doing that where they have like cosmetics. The way they work, sometimes additional missions and weapons you can't get anywhere else. That kind of thing on their storefront versus Valve, and maybe they can negotiate ways of like, hey, look, we'll keep the games we've already released on Steam, just as long as XYZ happens. I don't know, but just there's other things that they could be discussing, and instead of just putting Steam on PlayStation 6.
Well, you also got to remember, Xbox has been rumored to be doing stuff with Steam for decades, over a decade at this point. And we're finally starting to see inklings of that partnership coming through. Somewhat subtle and stuff when it comes to like integration with, Steam, and, when it comes to the unified, what, SloMo's complaining about Windows 11, but that's a step to go towards a unified experience when Windows 12 comes out. So everything could just be on one kernel together and things. So Steam is absolutely a part of that conversation when it comes to Microsoft. It may not be on a console side, but it's another way to like just integrate all that stuff. So, they could take away, like if you want to play games on a PC, it's an ability to have, Windows 12 be in a vehicle that allows you to be able to do that across, whatever apps or whatever. I don't even want to call them apps because they already went into that whole thing with apps before, and that was a disaster. That's why they had to flip back to what they were doing. But with that unified experience is just going to make it so, when you want to play games, your PC acts like a gaming console. Is it a gaming console? No, it's much more than that. It's way more powerful, and it has more capability. But when you want to use that capability, it's there at your fingertips, and that's going to be something that they're working on. And Sony is pretty much going to be doing the same thing. The only thing that they have to work on is just the UI in general, because, they're a console manufacturer. Microsoft has been, making OSs for years. When it comes to like the PC platform, it's the number one operating system for PCs out there. Even when you're talking about all these different ones that's out there that, people try to use like Linux and stuff, it still doesn't, even hold a candle to the fact that what Microsoft has going on. So PlayStation has to find a way to like, penetrate that market. And they are going to do it at some point because they do have the IP to do it with. The question comes down to, is Steam going to go along the ride with them, or are they going to try to cut out a piece for themselves and basically do what Epic did? And we all know outside of Fortnite, Epic people really don't mess around on Epic. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble for them to try to do it. But I also think that they look at the upside of, maybe we're not trying to market this towards the PC gamer that plays on Steam. Maybe we're trying to market this towards the gamer that wants
console
a better,
gamer that might want a PC,
wants a better experience. Because at a certain point, I think there is a ceiling. As much as I like the fact that consoles are kind of bridging that gap where we don't have to have, it doesn't have to be like this terrible box underneath your TV that holds you back. I think there will always be a market for a console that is just a console, and it's lower spec, and it gets just people into the ecosystem. But I think the further and further we get with technology, we're starting to see that there's more and more gamers, especially now that, and people don't think about this, gaming has been around since the 80s and late 70s. And all the people that were involved in that are the people that are spending the money now. Like, they're still spending that same amount of money. Like, I was born in 79, and I still buy games for myself. I still buy games for my kids. You said what?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, we already know how old you're up there too. You ain't too far. You were in the 80s, bro.
I'm an 80s baby, man.
I am an 80s baby too. I was just born
in
May of 1979. So I was at the very tail end of it. So, but the question comes down to, I mean, the thing I'm saying is, you know, we're still the ones spending the majority of the money. And we're ushering our families and our kids into those ecosystems where technology is the number one thing that everybody interacts with. So now you're going to have these gamers that's going to want either they're going to want to play on the go, which you'll still have to have hardware that allows you to be able to do that, or you're going to want to play at home and you're going to have hardware to do that. And then I just think at a certain point, PlayStation is like, do we really have to have a $1,200 console, or do we just come up with a way to have a launcher on a PC with a good enough UI that entices people that want a better PlayStation experience to venture over there, and we can still get market share that way too? So I think that's the end goal for them. It's just going to take time for them to get there.
I would say this: it makes far more sense for PlayStation to have a launcher on Windows and potentially Steam OS than for them to be allowing Steam on PlayStation. Again, we already talked about how they'd be missing out on the 30% cut on third-party games. But additionally, from there, you have I forgot what I was about to say. I had it. It was there, and now it's gone. It's because I'm old. I was talking about you being old. I'm really the old one. Let me try to get it back. What I was thinking was about how when you have PlayStation gamers that are interested in games that are on PC, like I mentioned before how there are a ton of games. There are actually far more exclusives on PC than vice versa. Like console has exclusive games that don't come to PC, or they come after a certain period of time. There are far more exclusive games on PC that just never come to console. The thing is that a lot of console gamers aren't interested in those games. So therefore, what is the incentive to be putting Steam on your platform when they're just cutting into your 30% cut of third-party games? And the games that they do provide that you don't actually have on PSN are not games that your demographic cares about. Like, sure, you'll have some indie games that may blow up, like Lethal Company on PC. It blew up out of nowhere. For like Among Us was exclusive to PC and mobile for a long period of time when it blew up before it finally came to all platforms. Sure, you'll get those kind of games that blow up like that. Your early access games like Hades and Hades 2 were on PC. Baldur's Gate 3 was on PC, on Steam for like a good, a year or two before it finally showed up on consoles. And sure, you could get, access to those things. But again, it goes back to, are you going to get a cut of that? Is Valve going to give you a cut of that? More than likely, no. And is it really worth it if all we're talking about are like a few early access games and indies? Like, is it really worth it? I don't really think that is. What makes more sense is that you try to cultivate gamers from a different demographic, a different market altogether on PC market versus the console market, because you've generated billions putting your games over there in the short period of time that you have done so, but you've been doing that. We're only getting a 70% of the cut. What if you get 100% of that? What if you get all of it because you have your own launcher? And sure, I would agree with anyone who says it's not going to work, because PC gamers are really be kind of fraudulent in how they act like, well, we're so open, we're so free, but all they care about is Steam. I am 1,000% on that bandwagon about that. There's too many PC gamers that think that way. That said, they think that way. So it's not going to change anytime soon. I'm sorry. And every publisher who publishes games have their own launcher to a degree, well, not all of them, but a good number of them have their own launcher on PC, and they have tried to lock down their games to that launcher, and it has not worked out well for them. And they have had to crawl back to Valve and put their games back on Steam. We've seen it all happen to all of them. So Sony will be no different if that is the case. It's just, they're better off just making a launcher and just putting incentives on it in order to entice people to buy it there instead of Steam. So, you ready to get into our final main topic,
Let's
sir?
do it.
We got a big problem in the industry, people, and in the market itself. And everyone has heard about how DRAM prices, RAM storage prices have been skyrocketing. We would, in discussing about the Steam machine, people started to really kind of look and pay attention to the fact that what you could have bought in DDR5 RAM 6 months ago has now gone up like 300%. Well, things are about to get even worse because Micron, who makes the crucial storage and RAM products, is retiring the crucial brand. Going forward, they will only supply RAM and SSDs through business-to-business transactions. They will no longer sell to end users, consumers. So what does that mean? That means that Micron will still continue to do business with NVIDIA, AMD, Microsoft, data centers that need that kind of stuff. PlayStation, whoever, PlayStation wanted to get a contract with Micron to supply the SSD in the new PS6, they'll work with them. But you or me, they ain't working with us no more.
Nope.
And so they will continue shipping products until the end of February 2026. But beyond that, they will still provide support for warranties for people who had already purchased one of their products and their warranty still isn't up. That's only going to be only for so long. Micron says they are winding down their consumer-focused business to improve supply and support for their larger customers who need them for AI business. I think when it comes down to it, less companies, and I'll just say this at the Forte, you can give your piece. Less companies selling these brands, selling these products means less competition among the other companies who still are.
Yep.
And when you see like industry leaders in SSDs like Samsung and Western Digital, their top of the line products are like, or Crucial has never been like a top, like no one goes, oh, I gotta get that new Crucial SSD.
Nope.
Like no, the new Samsung flagship one, you grab that. The new Western Digital Black, you'll grab that.
That Corsair.
But Crucial. The new, exactly. You'll grab that, but Crucial was just kind of like, I need storage for this laptop.
I need some plain storage that they got no lights on it.
Right.
That's what I need.
I just need something for this. And cool, they will provide what you need. But it was never like, it was like the no frills kind of product to it, like whatever they did in RAM and storage. And I got a few Crucial SSDs, but every time I bought them is because I knew that the read and write speeds were lesser than what my other storage, products and other devices. But I didn't care. It was about, I just need something cheaper for this particular build I'm doing, for this particular device I have. And I think the problem with that, with them leaving, is that there's less products on that lower end. And so there's less need, there's less incentive for Samsung not to go ridiculous with pricing. Yeah. Because, if you price it too high, you're going to get some people just like, man, forget that. I'll just go get this Crucial real quick. It's no big deal. But when there is no Crucial to go to, then that now, it's a problem. We got so I feel like pricing is going to go up even further than it is now. It's going to limit available supply. There's less of the actual supply of these things out there than there were in the past, which means less supply means there's more people trying to get what's left, which means that becomes more expensive. It's just going to keep driving prices up. And, I almost built a PC over the past month just because I felt like if I build one now, it'll be cheaper than buying. Like, I don't need to build one anytime soon for my son or myself, but like building one now would be cheaper than building one in say 2 or 3 years, for sure.
I agree.
And I almost just built one just because. But part of the reason why I haven't upgraded right now is that I don't need to. And I just, like, I'm not the kind of person that just spends money just because I got it to spend. And as of right now, like I literally started putting something together and stopped myself and said, no, nah. If I end up having to like my, God forbid my GPU crashes out and I need a backup GPU while I get my current one RMA'd or something, then like, all right, if I gotta spend a premium price on something that shouldn't be worth that, then so be it. As a backup GPU. When I finally build a new PC, if the motherboard and CPU combined is like over $1,000 now due to just the way the market is, then so be it. If I used to be able to say, hey, look, at least my RAM isn't that expensive. and I used to be able to say, hey, look, I'll go ahead and cut it and kick in that extra $50 for the RGB on the RAM, then the same version of RAM, same exact RAM with just no RGB is just cheaper. Then like, hey, look, maybe I'll just go the cheap route, next time. Who knows? But I'm not going to I'm not going to like succumb to the fear that everyone else seems to be succumbing to on this thing and just build something when I don't even have a need for it right now. I'm just not going to do that. So I'm done rambling. Forte, what are your thoughts on all this? And where do you see this going?
I'm really irritated about this. I'm not gonna lie, mostly due to the fact that I'm on AM4 and my upgrade will have to take me to AM5. And in order for me, that means I'm still on DDR4. And if I move up, I mean, I'm forced to buy this expensive, stupid RAM that it is right now. So part of me kind of regrets not buying when it was a lot cheaper.
Just real quick for those who don't understand, if you have a motherboard that is if your motherboard generation is for DDR4, the RAM that you buy for your new motherboard, which all new motherboards now is going to be DDR5, the RAM that you buy has to be DDR5. So it's not just, you can't just take the RAM from you could have 64 gigs of RAM and on that are DDR4 on your current rig, your current motherboard. If you buy a new motherboard, you need to now buy new RAM. That RAM that you have is useless for that new motherboard. And so that's driving up the cost of building new PCs right now. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Part of the reason why I haven't done it yet, because this is the thing that it's mostly my fault. And I'm not even going to say it was really my fault. This is the fact that I don't need to, because nothing is really challenging my PC yet. But I'm also at that point where I feel like I want to upgrade, and I'm on that cusp where my upgrade is pretty much almost a brand new PC outside of my graphics card. So I would just have to build a whole new PC and just, take my graphics card and move it over. But the price of this RAM, like RAM is stupid, because it's almost like the CPU I want, the RAM in order, because like if I'm not just gonna go to 32 gigs because I already have 32 now. I have 32 gigs of RAM now. Everything works perfectly fine. Now I could get 32 gigs, but everybody knows how it is when you want to upgrade. You want to upgrade everything. You want it to be better than the last one. So I'm probably most likely going to go to 64 gigs. But I'm thinking like 64 gigs at the clock speed and timing that I want is probably going to cost me almost as much as my CPU will cost. And that's ridiculous. And then, you know, Crucial falling out of the market, it's almost just, think about it like this. And it wasn't as impactful. Maybe it was, now that I think about it. Remember when EVGA was still making graphics cards? Like prices were still, like Nvidia was still all over the place with the pricing even then. But EVGA was like the top tier graphics card outside of the few, like Asus still had like their Strix line that was really, really high. But if you looked at graphics cards, like just the mid tier, like normal, like just consumer grade stuff outside of like the OEM, you would always go EVGA. And it was really, really good. They had really, really good warranties and everything. And they kind of kept the market somewhat in check because their CPUs, even if they were, you know, still really good, the market on them wasn't extremely marked up. Like they still had it for certain ones, but it wasn't as egregious as it has gotten ever since like the last 2 generations. You know, I kind of see that happening with, you know, with Crucial, like, disappearing, because as much as nobody was looking for that RAM still was available, and it was an option, and it allowed people that didn't care about the bling and the glitz and the glamour, and you just wanted to build a minimalist PC, you could do it at a cheaper price because it didn't have all those bells and whistles. Now, the thing about RAM, though, people don't realize is the speed and the timing of it is what matters the most. But the thing that raises the price of it even more is all the extra stuff that they put on it. It's like, do you really need like 1,300 million different variations of, you know, style and substance on your thing? No, but that also is something that's making the price go up. Tariffs isn't happening. Tariffs is probably the biggest thing because all of this stuff is made out of country, you know, in territories where, you know, we're paying 20 to 30 up to like 35% tariffs on it. So that's not helping either when it comes to that. And then just memory in general is one of those things that nobody really thinks about when they're building their PC until they have to do it. And then you realize how much it really is. And the thing is, when memory,
I'm seeing people spending $300 to $400 on
16 gigs.
16 gigs of RAM.
Dude, do you know how much my 32? Okay, I'm gonna tell you like this.
That's
32 gigs.
That's more than high-end CPUs. Some high-end CPU. Yo, what are we doing? What are we doing here, bro?
32 gigs of VRAM, my DDR4. And this, when I bought it, it wasn't, I think I bought it right when the year DDR5 was announced and released. That's when I upgraded my PC to this, because I was like, oh, it's gonna take them a while. We all know DDR5 motherboards and everything were trash back then. The AMD still hadn't figured out all of the timings and stuff, and the motherboards and CPUs and everything. Like the motherboards cost like 3 times the amount of money because it was new technology. So everybody was like willing to push it down the road. But now it's gotten a lot better. And I remember for my DDR4 at that time, 32 gigs of RAM, I bought, because I got 4 sticks of 8 gigs each. And it cost me roughly, I bought them in kits of 2. And I believe it cost me like $89. No, it cost me $103. Because it was $103 for 16 gigs. in one stick. So I paid $220 for 32 gigs of RAM. You know how much this same RAM, like I'm looking at it now on Micro Center, they still sell DDR4 because they still have to support older hardware. The same RAM, I have Corsair Vengeance RAM with the RAM, the lights and everything on it. Costs over $400, bro. Double the price.
It's crazy.
And that's for old technology. It's just wild, bro. And I don't see where it's gonna change. I don't see what's gonna make it change, because there's so many circumstances in the world right now outside of just manufacturing costs that makes these prices going up, and then you got companies that's going out of business because they just can't manufacture it at a rate where people can afford it, and that's the unfortunate side of it.
Yeah.
How many gig you got? So you got what? 32?
I have 32. Yeah. I got a 2.
You're on 5, right?
Yes, I'm on 5.
Yeah, you're on DDR5. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about upgrading RAM, but I don't need more than 64.
You don't need more than that.
I'm good where I'm at. And I thought about upgrading it earlier this year, and then again, like I've said before, like I don't like to tinker unless I actually have to.
Unless you have to.
And I'm like, what do I need 128 gigs of RAM for?
I know why you need it to flex. That's why you need it.
That's the only that's the only reason that you would do so. And so
yeah.
I built this PC in 2023, and I really feel like outside the GPU, the 4080 Super, which is still really good, is mostly underutilized. A lot of the games I play, they run games well if it's super unoptimized. Like I can't brute force it like you can. Like you on the 4090 can just brute force through unoptimized games to get acceptable frame rates. I can do that for the most part, but some games it doesn't work out that way for me. But those are few and far in between. Like I'm not.
Right.
My GPU is still like a top 5 GPU on the market. Probably top 4 actually, if I really think about it. Your 4090 is the second best GPU out, even though it's over a generation old. Yeah, it's just that there's just really no reason for me to upgrade, but to flip things over to how this affects like the industry as a whole. Like console gamers really need to start like if you were say someone who bought a PlayStation 5 or you bought an Xbox Series X or S and you wanted additional storage, good luck. Because now you're looking at spending almost as much as you spent on your console itself in order to just get more storage. That's ridiculous. I don't know when. I'm not going to pretend like I'm like some of these people out here pretend like they in the Sony and Microsoft boardrooms and know exactly how they price all this stuff and where things were like I don't know when they decide to nail down these contracts with companies like Crucial and Western Digital in order to do storage and RAM for their next console. Like where in the cycle of the development pipeline do you start to make those calls and get that stuff locked down? I know I find it unlikely that they would have a contract already for say, I'll take PlayStation for example, because it's further out than the next Xbox. I will find it very unlikely that PlayStation 6 already has a contract for RAM for their PlayStation 6 when it's not coming out until 2028. So it's not coming out for 3 years. Why would you have a contract this early in the game? That would be foolish, I think, for both companies, because what if prices go up and you're Crucial and you're locked into a contract with Sony to supply a boatload of RAM for their new console, and now prices are like double what you set it up for. You feel like a bonehead. Or what if you're Sony and you set the contract sometime soon, recently, and the prices are sky high, but we've seen these ebb and flows in the PC market. What if the prices go back down again? But you locked into a contract where you're paying double what the actual prices could have been later on. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why they would be engaged in that already. Now that's very different than, say, commissioning a custom APU to be R&D by AMD, working in conjunction with Mark Cerny on the upscaling and other RDNA 5 features. That's very different because that's custom. So you need to work on that for years. Ain't nothing custom happening with your RAM and storage. So there's just no need for it. It's silly. So I don't think they have already done those things, but it also wouldn't surprise me if they're watching what's happening right now. They kind of like wonder how this whole thing plays out, because it really is going to affect the bottom line, the pricing of how they price these products to us and how much they can subsidize it. They can realistically subsidize it. PlayStation has to do that in order to keep the lion's share of the large number of console gamers that are coming to them to get their at home under the TV gaming experience. But you're going to get far less of those people doing so if your console now is getting priced up into the four digit range because of RAM and storage. It doesn't matter. Like, you thought half of the console market still being on last gen was big this generation. Let these things come out well over $800-900 and see how many people stick to their PS5s and stick to their Xbox Series consoles. It's gonna be a lot. So, anything else you want to say over this? We can get up out of here. Hit the outro.
Hit the outro. I was muted when I was talking the whole time. No, I said hit the outro, bro.
All right, well, we getting up out of here. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Shout out to Leon Sue. I'm sorry, Lisa Sue's favorite fanboy, Floodzilla, in the chat. You know, he is a AMD diehard. Bleeds red. Not just his blood, but that red's for AMD. That's their team colors. Appreciate you guys for coming through. Forte, let everyone know where they can find you over the next week until we see you guys next week.
Actually, I think this week is just a work week, so just check us out. We'll go get to the Death Stranding streaming soon. I know I'll be on. Speaking of which, I'll talk to you after the show. But I think I'll be on IOP this Sunday because I don't have to work. I don't think. I'll put out more information on that soon. But outside of that, man, just enjoy you guys this weekend. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and hopefully you guys have fun for the rest of we're on what's today, the 4th. So 21 days until Christmas, guys. Crazy. But that's all I have, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
Can I say this real quick?
Yes. Absolutely.
Christmas food greater than Thanksgiving food.
Ooh. What? Okay, so when we're saying that, what dish are you looking forward more to during Christmas than Thanksgiving?
I just think overall all of
the food is just better.
Yeah, because like there is this need to push for Thanksgiving specific kind of food like turkey, and look, I'm a dark meat kind of dude.
Okay,
if you know what I mean. So let me stop. I'm being messy. No, but I like dark meat over white meat, and white meat's always like dry as all get out at Thanksgiving. and I just feel there is far more freedom to just make what you want with on Christmas, and it's not like a shot towards any of my family that cooks during these time periods. They do an awesome job, but it's the food itself I think is just superior. So yeah, Christmas, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to a nice Christmas dinner, get to sit back and watch some football as I chow down on some food, and I'm taking, I think I'm going on PTO that entire week. And actually, I had to double check it. I think I'm on PTO that week and the week after, all the way up until New Year's, because I have like an abundance of PTO that I didn't use, and if I don't use it, I'm going to lose it, kind of thing. I can only carry over like 5 days to next year, so I'm using it, and I'm going to use a lot of it. For myself, I'm going to be. I know I said I was going to try to stream in between the past 2 weeks since we last did a show, but then I got sick, so that didn't happen. So I'm starting to recover from there. So do expect a stream at some point. I am going to play Arc Raiders.
Okay.
And I'm also going to play Donkey Kong Bonanza. And I'm also going to play some Silk Song. So maybe I'll stream one or all of those games in the next week. We'll see. But hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. We out. Peace.
Peace.
Peace and hair grease.
Peace and hair grease.